Hollywood loves cowboys and clean endings. But the truth? The truth bleeds through. Buried under all the glory are real names, real places, and real consequences. After all, the best westerns unearth as much as they entertain. And in this episode, we're showing you 10 western films that feel so true, because they are. Some stay loyal to the facts, others twist them till they creak. But all of them are riding shotgun with history. And that's precisely what we're about to dig up. My name is Sam, and this is Western Files. Let's begin our countdown with number 10, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, 2007. Now, this film's about a legend decaying from the inside. Brad Pitt's Jesse James is smaller than death. He's paranoid and fading. He's half ghost already. You can feel it in the way he walks, the way he talks, like he knows the end's coming and he's just waiting for it. And Robert Ford? Casey Affleck plays him like a wet match trying to spark. He's overly obsessed and jealous. He's willing to kill just to matter. And when the time comes, he doesn't shoot Jesse in a blaze of glory. No, he creeps up and snuffs him out like a candle. The film sits in that moment. It doesn't rush it. It soaks in the awkward tension, the fake laughs, the loaded silences. You're basically watching a slow, sick unraveling. And historically speaking, it's pretty tight. The gang's last ride, the suspicion, the corpse on tour like a twisted celebrity, meet and greet. Even some lines come straight from the records. No heroics, just ego, fear, and the weird craving to be remembered, no matter how. And from slow death to liver-eating vengeance. Let's head into the mountains. Number 9, Jeremiah Johnson, 1972. Before survival shows, before Rambo, there was Johnson chewing liver and staying warm with Spike. Robert Redford barely says a word. He just exists, out in the snow, in a world that wants him dead. The film's loosely based on the real mountain man, John Liver-Eating Johnson. And yeah, the name means exactly what it sounds like. The story's pretty sensitive. Snow, scalpings, ambushes, grizzly brawls. You see, after the U.S. Army drags Johnson over sacred ground, the Crow tribe retaliate, and that's when Johnson turns into a one-man vengeance engine. And he doesn't stop for decades. But did he really eat livers? Maybe. Maybe not. Could be true. Could be tall tale. But the man lived. He fought. He made it through. And the film gets one thing dead right. The frontier didn't care about you. It was cold, unforgiving, and silent. You either adapted to its harsh conditions, or you disappeared. Oh, and if this kind of story's your thing, then don't forget to check out our other channel, Wild America. We've got more frozen vengeance, bloody trails, and a 4-hour episode on this liver-eating legend over there. But for now, if you think mountain men are rough, wait till we get to the land barons with hit lists. Number 8, Heaven's Gate, 1980. Yeah, this film definitely bombed. We'll get to that train wreck in another episode. But for now, it's worth nothing that Heaven's Gate earns its spot because it showed the West without the makeup. This wasn't six-shooters and sunsets. It was blood, land grabs, and rich men playing God. As for the real history, it's based on the Johnson County War in Wyoming during the 1890s. What happened was, cattle barons saw immigrants settling in, and they said, nope. So, they hired guns, like actual hitmen with a kill list. Backed by the Pinkertons, they rode in like a private army. This was a purge by all means, and nobody in power blinked. The movie, however, it was a mess. It was a masterpiece. Both actually, it's slow, it's chaotic, it bleeds money and dust, but that chaos works, because the West was rigged from the start. No white hats and no honor, just cash, control, and the bodies it took to get both. Sure, it takes liberties, but the bones are real. And once you know what happened, the movie hits different. And now, let's trade corruption for carnage. Number 7, The Alamo, 1960. John Wayne plays it like freedom's last stand. But if you scrape off the hero paint, what's left is a massacre. 1836. The real Alamo. Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, William Travis, surrounded and outgunned by Santa Anna's army. Every Texan fighter died, every single one. The movie smooths out the story, sure. It adds a little shine, but it nails the dismay, the desperation, the plain fact that they knew they were going to die, and yet they stayed anyway. It wasn't the end of the war, but it was the spark that changed the course of history in that part of the world. And remember, the Alamo wasn't just a slogan, it was fuel, and Texas lit the match. So yeah, some details are off, but the weight is there. These legends died in that mission, and because of that, the map changed. And next up, we've got a story the textbooks like to skip, and for good reason. Number 6, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, 2007. Now this film drags you into the ruins and makes you stay there. Aside from being a history lesson, it's a gut punch. You're watching the U.S. government carve up native life with policies dressed up like favors. Broken treaties, forced schools, stolen land, signed, sealed, and delivered with a smile. And at the center is Charles Eastman, a Dakota doctor caught between two worlds. He's got the white education, the fancy job, and the bedeviling sense that it all came at a cost. Then there's Senator Dawes, a true believer in the Dawes Act, a policy that basically said, "We're helping you by erasing everything you are." Now he means well, but that's what makes it worse. And the film doesn't paint in cartoons. Sitting Bull doesn't back down. Red Cloud tries to adapt. So Eastman, respected by DC, is torn up inside. Even Dawes thinks he's saving lives. But history has the receipts. And this all leads to the massacre at Wounded Knee. But really? The killing started way before the gunfire. It started in the classrooms, in the land offices, in the fine print. And in this Western, the deadliest weapon is paperwork, not a rifle. As for the fallout, it's still going. And that was the system breaking people. Now let's see what happens when one pushes back. Number 5, Wyatt Earp, 1994. This one doesn't start with a bang. It starts with a kid lying his way into the Civil War. It ends with a worn-out man trying to outrun the weight of his name. Costner's Earp isn't flashy. He's not cool. He's tired. And this isn't Tombstone, mind you. This is what happens after. But you get the grind. Cattle drives, grief, vigilante payback, and then Tombstone. Then what comes next is more blood, more ghosts, and a long, cold trail through exile and Alaska. The film, however, doesn't care about polish. It gives space to the man's brothers, his regrets, the bitterness that builds when the myth starts to outgrow the man. Nor is it about a hero cleaning up a town. It has more to do with a man who won't break, even when breaking might have saved him. So yeah, Tombstone has the guns and one-liners, but Wyatt Earp shows the cost of being the legend. But for now, let's swap law for legend and watch the line blur. Number 4, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969. Now this film's pretty slick and sharp, and somehow it's mostly true. The train jobs? Oh, they were real. The Pinkertons on their tail? Also real. Even the part where they bailed to Bolivia? Yeah, they actually did that. The movie doesn't twist the facts too hard. It just lets the myth breathe. As for that final shootout, Hollywood punched it up, sure. But honestly, nobody knows how it really ended. Some say they died in that Bolivian gunfight. Some say they slipped away. The film doesn't really pick a side. It just lets the legend hang in the air. What does land every time is the chemistry. And as for Newman and Redford, they play outlaws as though they are outlaws. Cool without trying, funny without forcing it. And when the tragedy hits, it hits all right. So, yeah, this is indeed one of the few westerns that pulls off fun and fidelity and makes it look easy. And now, next stop, youth, bullets, and everything the dime novels left out. Number 3, Young Guns, 1988. Now, most movies butcher Billy the Kid, but this one actually listens. It doesn't just zoom in on Billy, it zooms out. It shows the whole crew, the regulators, and the powder keg behind them, the Lincoln County War. This film's about a crooked system, fake justice, and a group of misfits who try to fight back, then get chewed up for it. And the setup's simple. John Tunstall, an English rancher, hires a crew of outcasts, Billy, Doc Scurlock, Dick Brewer, the rest. And when rival ranchers, backed by dirty lawmen, kill Tunstall, the boys get deputized and go hunting. Then what starts as legal payback turns into a cycle of blood and madness, and just like that, they're not peacekeepers anymore, they're fugitives. But what sets this film apart? Well, it gives the whole gang their due. No more turning Billy into a solo act. This was a group fight, not a one-man show. And the politics? Dead on. The West wasn't lawless, it just had rules written by crooks. So yeah, Young Guns is loud and stylish, full of 1880s attitude, but underneath all that, there's a bitter truth. You don't always become an outlaw by breaking the law. Sometimes it happens when you try to enforce it. And hey, if you want more blood, more bodies, and more legends, Wild America has the full lineup of the deadliest gunslingers to ever draw down, so head over to our other channel when you have the time. And so far, you've seen the fast ones. Now meet the man who never stopped. Number 2, The Searchers, 1956. Yeah, it's a classic, but not the warm, ride off into the sunset kind. This one burns slower and deeper. Forget the poster shots of John Wayne squinting into the horizon. This is a story about obsession, racism, and scars that don't heal. And it's not just made-up drama. It's built from real people, real pain, stuff most folks would rather skip. It starts with Britton Johnson, a black frontiersman. His family was taken by the Comanche. So what did he do? He rode into their territory alone, again and again. Not because he had a death wish, but because no one else would step up. So he kept going until he died doing it. That's fact, not myth. Then there's Cynthia Ann Parker. She was taken as a kid and raised as a Comanche. She married a chief and had kids. And when white settlers rescued her, she didn't want to be saved. She actually screamed, fought, begged to go back, but they dragged her home anyway. To her, it wasn't a rescue. It was another kidnapping. Alan LeMay, the author behind The Searchers, didn't pull this out of thin air. He studied 64 real abduction cases. So he didn't invent the story. He just reassembled the wreckage. As for Ethan Edwards, Wayne's character, he's no white hat hero. He's a bitter Confederate vet chasing his niece across the frontier, driven by hate more than love. And by the time he finds her, the line between saving and punishing is gone. Now, most Westerns give you heroes, villains, clean endings. The Searchers, on the other hand, gives you none of that. It gives you a man who wins and still can't go home. And with that, we've skirted the edge long enough. Time to stop circling the flames and walk straight into the fire. Number 1, Tombstone, 1993. If you want a Western with teeth, real stakes, real history, and real grit, this is it. No long-winded origin story, no romanticized nonsense. Just the Earp brothers rolling into Arizona, hoping for peace, and not getting it. Virgil signs on as Marshal. Wyatt tries to stay out of it. But then the cowboys show up, drunk, wild, and asking for trouble. And what starts as a gun ordinance ends with blood in the dirt and a vengeance tour through hell. The OK Corral? Yeah, that definitely happened. Wyatt going full Reaper, dragging a dying Doc Holliday into a warpath? Also happened. This film doesn't just throw a based on a true story tag on top, it earns it. It bends a few timelines, sure, but the backbone's solid, and the soul of it is untouched. Kurt Russell brings Wyatt Earp to a slow boil, calm until he's not. And Val Kilmer? Oh boy, he doesn't exactly play Doc Holliday. He is Doc Holliday. Sick, sharp, and ready to die sideways. Every line sticks. Every scene is filled with tension. This is damn good filmmaking and a bare-knuckle brawl with the past. Tombstone doesn't try to look tough because it is tough. And yeah, we heard Val Kilmer passed recently. So here's to you, Doc. You were our Huckleberry. Ride easy. We've got a full Val Kilmer tribute episode coming soon on this channel, so don't miss it. And so it turns out, the real West didn't need Hollywood to spice it up. It just needed to clean it up. Because the truth? The truth was rougher and meaner and weirder. And sometimes the truth is way more unforgettable than anything a screenwriter could dream up.